Good evening, my crafting friends. Welcome to your Thursday evening Facebook Live. My name is Sarah Edwards. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I come to you guys live every Tuesday and Thursday at 7 to show you a fun new project. So hopefully you guys are sitting down, relaxing, because I don't want anybody to fall out of their chair when they see tonight's project. I know I kind of always say that, and I love everything about this company, their designer series paper, their stamp sets, their ink, and I just get super excited to show you guys something new and exciting. So I started this a few months back where I focus on one bundle or one suite for the entire week of my Facebook Lives. So on Tuesday, I did the Party Piggies, and today I am going to be doing a masculine Party Piggy. I know Cassie and the girls always not really yell at me, but they're like, why don't you do more masculine cards? And it's a lot harder for me. And I think a lot of us struggle doing masculine cards. So on Tuesday, I did a feminine card. So today we're going to use the same exact sets. We're just going to change up the paper and make a masculine one. Good evening, Heather. Welcome. So hopefully you guys had a good day. On Tuesday, I remember telling everybody that I was in a hot mess. I definitely am. I have 1,600 projects going on my table. And on Wednesday, when I got off work, I was supposed to clean and tidy up so I know what is what and where everything is. Well, I got off work, came home and took a fat nap. Yeah, I got nothing done yesterday, but the nap was absolutely spectacular. I definitely needed it. And then I was a little scared I was going to be in bed by 7 so I could be back up at 3 o'clock this morning, and no issues at all. Fell right to sleep, I think at 7:15, and did not want to get up at 3 o'clock this morning. So I must have needed the nap. So today I was starting to clean. Starting is the word, right? And then I was like, no, I'm going to finish one of the pillow gifts that I had prepped, but I hadn't finished them. So I got all but 8 of them done. So I am going to give myself that it is 100% done, one of the pillow gifts for the July retreat. They are so cute, so spectacular, and I cannot wait to spoil you guys in July. I will post the LINK when I post this to YouTube. So I still have a handful of spots left, so you're more than welcome to join us if you are in Arizona. So let's point you over so I can show you all of the fun things we are going to be playing with. Okay, I don't know why I always forget to push my little mouse pad over, and it is well used and well loved. So I want to try to get that out of the way. Okay, so the Party Piggies, same set that we used on Tuesday. Absolutely love this. You are going to be seeing a ton of this Party Piggy. It comes with the coordinating dies. You can cut the piggy head out, the piggy body. You have the hats, the party hat, and you have the flags. Can't pick it up. And then you have this to cut the shaker out of the body. So such a fun set to play with. Good evening, Mary. Welcome. Sorry, hold on. There we go. I just wanted to make sure we were live. So much you can cut with, and I love this set. It is my new favorite. Um, it is a tiny die set, so it will definitely fit inside your stamp case if that's how you guys choose to store yours. It fits really nicely in there. And last time I brought in the Dots and Spots stamp set, but this time I'm going to bring in the Turter-y Cute Embossing folder. I just wanted something on the background just to kind of give it a little bit of a pop. So I used the Turter-y Cute. It is the new suite, but I just used the embossing folder on that one. Okay, so there's those. And then I brought in Secret Sea ink, pecan pie, and then I have pecan pie light, and I do have light bubble bath. So those are my inks that I will be using. Okay, let's start by showing you the card. Actually, let me show you what we did on Tuesday. So this is what we did on Tuesday. So depending on how you put the little wobbles on is how it is going to shake. So this one shakes so much nicer. I literally could sit here and do this for hours. So this is what we did on Tuesday. So we did a feminine one. So let me show you the masculines. So this is what we're going to be creating tonight. And he does a wobble. He doesn't shake because we didn't do the shaker on the inside, but he wobbles. And it is so stinking cute. So I used the dies and the stamps. So I used the piggy head, the piggy body, the piggy hat, and the flag. So those are the 4 dies that I used. So let's do a little bit of stamping and then we will get this card going. So you're going to need a piece of scratch basic white and scratch cloud cover. So we're going to use our Secret Sea ink first. Right, Heather? It is so cute. I cannot control myself. So we are going to need 4 of the party hats. So you can go ahead and stamp 4 party hats. And I will show you how I got the bottom in a second. So we have 4 party hats. We have 1 of the flags. And I do need the sentiments. So I sorry, I had to get it on a different block, and I think I just got ink all over my fingers. And I'm just going to stamp this down at the bottom. This one I did not cut the 2U off of the bottom of that image because we're going to do a little bit of cutting. So I'm going to set this aside so I can concentrate on the little piggy. Open up the pecan pie. We had this debate on Saturday. Is it pecan pie or pecan pie? I say pecan. Some people say pecan. I don't know which way's right. Kathy was telling us which one meant different ways, and I don't know. I can't remember. Okay, so I use pecan pie and basic white. So we are going to die cut all of these out, and because we are live, look at the magic of that. They are all cut. I just had to snap my fingers and it was done for me. Okay, so let's do a little bit of coloring. I did have to pull a little bit of pink in for his nose. I think everybody's going to be okay with that because piggies have a pink nose. So I used the light version of the bubble bath, and as long as you go quick, you can go ahead and color without it being memento. Otherwise, it will bleed. So just know if you're going to use our blends on anything but memento ink, you gotta be quick. Otherwise, it will bleed. So now I'm taking the light pecan pie and I'm just coloring in the little accent pieces of the piggy. And I actually did do this earlier, so it might have dried enough where it wouldn't be so dramatic if it did bleed. And also I'm using color on color, tone on tone. So that does help. But just know that beforehand, that if you're not quick, it could bleed. Okay. So I forgot his arm or his hand. I don't know what that is. Okay. So that's all the coloring we're going to be doing. Thank you, Heather. Sorry, it took me a minute to read that. Yes, I actually took it out of the catalog. It was not my idea. I wish I could take total credit for it. But it was an image that Stampin' Up! Had done. It did take me a few tries to figure out how they did it. And I will show you that. So I'm going to go ahead and glue the piggy's head on. Now I'm going to leave one up top and I'm going to show you what I did on these guys. So at first I just went in and trimmed right at the edges all the way up and I'm like, that looks a little silly. So what I ended up figuring out is you're going to pretty much cut right on the line of the secret C. And you're going to come around and you're going to just take off that extra little smidgen that is supposed to be there from the die cutting. And that is what's going to give you your little banner. It really looked funny, and it took me a few tries to figure this out. So now you guys don't have to stress about it. You already know how to do it. And then come trim the bottom. There we go. Do the last one. And then I got thinking, they used our basic white linen thread, and I was going to do that, but then I remembered we have linen thread that is in a trio pack, I believe. I forget the name of it now, but I looked to see if it was still current before I put it on my card, and it totally was. And honestly, I think it's balmy blue, but I really don't think it is that noticeable. So let's bring all of these pieces back in, and I'm going to grab a mini glue dot, and I'm going to put the edge of the ribbon or the twine on here, but I'm not going to fold it over to hide it because I'm going to attach the bow to the excess of the mini glue dots. Hopefully that makes sense. So then I'm just going to come over and kind of just gauge how much I want. And I'm going to cut that. Then I'm going to do the same thing to this side. Usually when you're using linen thread, you want to roll the mini glue dot back on itself because it is wider than the twine, but I don't want to do it this time. And these were itty bitty little bows to tie. I will not lie, my big hands did struggle, but I was able to get them done. So the little bows are going to go on his hands. And now we can put our little banner on. So I'm going to flip them over. Grab some mini dimensionals, which I guess I don't have any mini ones on my table. So I'm going to use the edges of these. They should fit perfect. Yep. I was thinking before I went live, I do need to restock my Facebook Live table because my Tombow green glue is almost out. And I was like, oh, I'll do it after. I should have restocked before. Okay, so now I'm going to just lay this there. That one on that side. And this one over here. So cute. Okay, so now our party hat. We don't want any glue on the back side of our piggy because we want him to be able to wobble. So what I did for the hat, I just put it on halfway on a mini glue dot. This one I did roll back on itself because I didn't want it to go too far up the back where it was going to stick to the card base. So now there's no glue sticking up. Let's attach his flag. And the flag, I just went ahead and put the mini glue dot on the whole bottom. It fit perfect. And then we're going to put it underneath his hand. There we go. Our piggy is done. So easy and so stinking cute. I can't even control myself. So now let's bring in our card base and all of that I usually do in the beginning. And I totally forgot because I was so excited to show you guys how to put the pig together. Thick basic white, 8.5 by 5.5. Score it 4 1/4. You can fold this bad boy in half, give it a good crease. And then I have cloud cover 4 by 5 1/4. And then Secret C that I embossed. I don't know if you guys can see the embossing on there, but it is done. And I think it really makes this card pop. Let's add some adhesive to the back. Glue this to make sure it's even. Okay, that looks good. Because it is a 3D emboss, actually it's not a 3D embossing folder, but because it's an embossing folder, I want to let that glue attach before I flip it over and put adhesive on the back side. Otherwise, it could shift a little. There we go. Let's let that dry and let's bring in our little piggy and our fun little wobbles. So I did notice that these guys can stretch out. So you definitely want to make sure that you have your wobbles and you don't extend them. Otherwise, it doesn't wobble as nice as you would want it to. Oh, the sticky came off of that one. Good thing I have over 100 of them. I'm not even going to stress. I filed it and then I grabbed another one. Okay. Perfect. And see, this one is actually even closer than the one that I just threw away. So definitely look at that. So now I'm going to put the wobble on in the center. And I'm going to hold this down as I peel the back off. Otherwise, you could stretch out your wobble. That really sounds funny to say. There we go. Bring in our card base. Put our piggy down, give it a good press, and voila, he wobbles. Okay, now what did I do with, oh, here we go. So on this one, I loved a fussy cat. I think my nickname is Fussy Hussy or something along those lines, and I love it because that is totally me. And I 999% of the time never just cut a straight line on its own. But that's what I did on this one. I did not do anything fancy. I freehand cut it. It might not be straight, but I honestly don't think anybody is looking at the sentiments to make sure that I got it straight. They're messing with the little wobble. So let's grab some edges of this because I don't have any mini dimensionals. I think I'm just going to put one in the center. Yeah, that's plenty. So I'm going to put happy up top and birthday to the side, and voila. Your guys' card is done. I think he is so cute. He just makes my heart happy. So is anybody going to be ordering these wobbles? I literally got them on Amazon. They were not very expensive. I can't remember off the top of my head, but maybe $10 for 100 of them. And it could have even been less than that. But I am super excited to do more things with it. I wish I would have had them for when we had the cow set. That would have been super cute too, to have your cow wobble. Okay, I'm just going to color and put the last one together just for giggles. I have it done, and it's one less thing that I have to take back to my crafting table to do tomorrow. I can try to clean. I get the boys in the afternoon, and Bo is actually in the house prepping the ribs because we're going to smoke ribs for him tomorrow and have an ice cream party. Who is calling me? Oh, likely scam. Um, we're going to have corn on the cob and ribs, and then ice cream with sprinkles for desserts. And both boys are spending the night. So it will be a fun evening and morning. Okay, last part of coloring. Perfect. Let's glue his head on. Let me see if I can bring these in and craft at the same time, because you guys, if you're just logging on, you can still see what we did on Tuesday and then what we're doing today. We'll see if it gets in my way. So mini glue dots. Put this on halfway. Roll it back on itself. There's that. Let's grab our baker's twine. Sometimes they come out with the new in color in twine. They didn't this year. Otherwise, it kind of would have been perfect to use with this set or with this card. And again, I did not measure. I just eyeballed. I think I might mail one of these to each of the boys just so they can play with it. I know they're going to rip it apart, but at least I'll get the look on their face when they get it in the mail. Even though it's not their birthdays, they're not going to know the difference. I'm just pressing the bows into the glue dot that is already there, just so it doesn't get super sticky all over the place. There we go. And these guys were super easy to do once I figured it out. But usually when you're fussy cutting, you're going to cut where it's not right on the edge. But this one, you do want to cut on the edge. And you have lots of shrapnel all over the place. If your craft room isn't messy, it means you are not having fun. That, or you're just super tidy and organized and not a tornado like me. But it will be clean for card class. That I can assure you. If you drop by when it is not card class or retreat, you never know what you're going to get. So make sure your life insurance is paid up. But if you come over for a class or a retreat, everything is pretty tidy. That is what I'm going with. Oh no, I might not have any more littles. We'll make it work. They really don't need to be that big for these guys. And I like to put one in the center first because it kind of gives me the guide where the other two need to go. There we go. Almost done. And we can glue it together. I might not do the happy birthday because then I'm going to need to stamp it again. And I don't really know what time it is. And I try to only do my lives for about 30 minutes because I know everybody has a life outside of watching my lights. Let's get the wobble on there. Okay, let's get these out of the way because I am going to glue something to it on accident. Get all the shrapnel out. And we're almost done. I did a card swap with the Piggies, and I wish I would have had the little wobbles before I did my cards because I totally would have done these. But I didn't know about them till I saw them online. There's that. There's this one. And then let's bring in our wobble. Perfect. Press him down, and he wobbles. Woohoo! Okay, I'm not going to do the happy birthday, but I will tomorrow maybe. That or if I can't sleep tonight. Haha. Whoever said that I can't sleep. I'll come back out and finish them. But there you go. There's our 3 wobbling piggies. Get them all going at the same time. Hopefully you guys enjoyed them. Next week, I am not entirely sure what we're going to be doing. I literally have probably 15 bundles that I'm in love with, so I need to narrow it down so I can start prepping and preparing for next week's live. But next Saturday is card class. I do have a few spots available, so it's at 8 a.m. or 11:30 a.m. next Saturday. I'll send another email out in a couple days for the final counts, and I will be back on Tuesday for another live. If you need anything, please feel free to reach out. If not, I will see everybody on Tuesday. Have a great evening. Bye-bye.